Welcome everybody back to another week of Gunpla and Chill. And to finish up, what we've still been working on is that we're going to be working on Deathscythe's arms specifically. We got some cleaning up to do in these nubs. I'm going to show you how my process for these when they're super nasty like that. Here's our current stage with our head and torso finished up, and then also our pieces that we're going to be painting today. Just a little bit of yellow, just a little bit of blue, leaving our white just the same as well. Big note here though, everybody that's tuning in today, is that this one is a pre-record. I am super sorry, not able to meet our normal broadcasting time due to some traveling that's got going on this week as well. So you're tuning in tonight. Thank you so much. Tuning in for the first time, obviously welcome. Let's have a little bit of chill out. Let's talk about some Gundam. Let's talk about building some Gundams as well. And so, I mentioned as well, like we're gonna do a little bit of sanding today, but this is a really nice sanding thing that I've got here as well. It's made by Display, European company. Good stuff here. Really like them actually quite a bit. The only issue is, especially like with show you guys how them on the recording, is that you have to do like a lot of cutting and taking this off, reapplying it back to its sticker adhesive right here, its adhesive guard, and we have to do that for all the different grits as well. They don't come with like 18 of these, which would be fantastic if they did, so that way you could just have one for each grit and just replace as you need. Um, so you just have to take them back on and off, which takes up some time, and I did not want to waste your time with that. However, though, today I am going to use your time for that, because we want to make these parts nice and clean. So the issue is that when we clipped them out, we get these nasty little nubs left over from it, which is obviously not ideal for any Gundam build. And even you'll see here, I'm gonna clip them off using my single blade, and it's still pretty bad. And it doesn't help that there's a seam line there too, as well. So that's why we're really gonna give these some good sanding across the board to clean these up. These are going to be a very prominent piece, as they are, I don't know, what would you consider it? It's the bicep area of the Gundam. I mean, I know they don't have any muscle structures, but it's the upper arm piece, just below the shoulder vents and stuff. So, just going to be a little bit aggressive actually in taking this off, because our sanding paper is going to take care of the rest of it. Now, what's really nice about these ones from Display, this is a polycarbonate, wow, polycarbonate plastic here. So it looks like it's supposed to be carbon fiber. Yeah, it's not. But outside of that, though, it's a nice straight. It doesn't bend or anything, which this part right here needs to be nice and straight. So we are just going to go and just go to town on the sanding in this instance. We do have to do two angles. One to get rid of the seam line here on top, and then we also need to get rid of the seam line right here as well in this angled piece. And once again, just because this is a nice flat tool, it'll make it look nice and smooth across the board. When we're done with it, especially when we go through all the grits and everything, we shouldn't see like anything at all. It'll be perfect. It'll be absolutely perfect. Which is why it's a great tool to have in your arsenal. And they weren't really expensive either. I think they got them for the whole set that it came with. 3 sticks, one wide, one medium. This is the medium one, and then one super thin. And I think one is, if I were to give it like a millimeter, I didn't measure its width specifically, but I think it's about 4 millimeters. It's super thin as well. And if you can see a camera, the seam line is actually gone now. So we're gonna flip it over and do the other side as well. Once again, you never, even with sanding, try to avoid pressing down really hard, because that'll just make things quite uneven. Let the sandpaper, let the tool do the work for you. If you're forcing it, you're doing it wrong. So, as much as I want to be a Jedi or a Force builder, Don't use the force, guys. And just going at it in general. Cleaning it up. So yeah, this is, the 400 grit's usually the one that takes the most work, if you ask me. Just because it's the one that gets rid of all the imperfections, and so you may have to spend a little bit of time there. But once you start going up in the grits, though, it becomes pretty smooth and solid. I am not gonna, especially because of these, and you have to take them off and put them back on the sandpaper and adhesive. I am actually not gonna switch until I do both sections of both arms each time. And so, oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. The designers did not give us. I mean, for the most part, like AVP's here has been like super friendly. And what I mean by that, hasn't needed a lot of sanding or buffing at that point. But this piece and these arms are just absolutely horrendous as far as that goes. So now more modern day kits. This one's, I mean, this one's definitely still pretty modern, but more modern day kits do a really great job at like hiding these nubs, and like, I don't know, they would like do the infusion for the plastic like right here in the edges and then right here in the ends, and that's just so much less work and easily hide, so that way you don't actually have to do all this sanding to make it nice and smooth, because we want our piece to look, once again, like it's a real Gundam, just 1/100 scale. Also, speaking actually making our real Gundams is I got a pretty fun haul in this past week, which I'm super excited to announce to the group. Is that I found on Galactic Toys. If you guys are interested, galactictoys.com. They had all four, um, five if you include Wing Zero. So all the current Gundams from Gundam Wing present on their site. So I ended up buying the other four that I did not have. They also have some grunt suits as well. But I went after the Wing Gundam, Deathscythe original, the Heavy Arms, and Sandrock. Got the whole series now, and so that actually puts my tally up for my Gundam Wing high grades to got those first four. Can't wait for Shenlong. Supposedly it's going to come out next year. Shenlong is actually one of my favorites in general. I mean, it's a Gundam with a staff. It's super awesome. Um, and in addition to that, having those original five, I've got Wing Zero and a Space Leo. But my pride and joy, and I'm super excited to build them though as well, is Mercurius and Vey 8 high grades, the newer ones, the re-released by P Bandai. So I am super stoked for those builds in the first place. But that being the case, though, um, for GunPla and Chill, I'm definitely dedicating my master grades for it in the first place to show you guys off. But I feel like there's like once again, a very different skill set that's required for high grades, and I want to go ahead and not necessarily show that off, but have a community dev around that though as well. So I'm going to start not this Wednesday, but the following. So that puts us at the date of the 25th and onward. Um, Increasing the broadcast from once a week to twice a week. Wednesday is going to be our Gundam Wings Day. Yes, indeed, super corny. I love it. I love corny stuff sometimes. I think we all do. Hopefully, it doesn't turn you away from it. But yeah, so gonna do a Gundam Wings Day, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time in the United States, and we are going to be broadcasting specifically just Gundam Wing kits in general, high grades and master grades. I got tons of both of them, but yeah, so we're gonna get started with that one as well. Excuse me. Original design Wing Zero. will be the first one there. I've already started busting into it before I even decided I was going to do the Gundam Wings Day, excuse me. So we're gonna do Gundam Wings Day starting on the 25th. So super excited to bring that to everybody. Um, really good newer high grade kits as well. So this should be super awesome to build. We're gonna do some hand paint, brush painting as well. There we gotta have to for some high grades, which to me is a once again different skill set. So we'll look at it. We'll do it. And yeah, stay tuned, join in. Excited to have you there for it. So Gundam Wings Day. Let that corny name stick in your head all these next 2 weeks, and then tune in for Wing Zero. And we're actually probably going to be jumping straight into some painting for him because that is the stage we are at. Oh, I also like for high grades though do a lot of reverse washing. Um, we'll paint a color into the gaps and then use the washing technique to get rid of seam lines and stuff to actually paint. It's one of my favorite techniques. Shout out to all the YouTubers that have actually made reverse washing tutorials. I feel like I've watched every single one of them, and you guys have been instrumental in developing my skill in that, and easily once again become one of my favorite ways to do it. Become one of my favorite ways. So there we go, and so we literally jumped from 400 to 600, and you can see I just peel it off, put it right back on its adhesive protector as well, the best I can. Of course, it's nowhere near perfect. I try to do what I can, and so now I'm moving on over to 800. Once again, since this is the white, I'm not going to paint these. It wouldn't hurt. It definitely would not hurt though if you wanted to paint your white. This is definitely you won't have to polish nearly as much because the paint will do the polishing for you. So I'm gonna go to my 2500 grit here specifically, and then bust out my 4000 and 6000 afterwards to really give it a nice, once again, polished look like the rest of the plastic. But we're definitely now at a phase where just really once again the grits are just cleaning it up in general. And man, it just looks so much better than the original, like cut from the plastic, and even just trimming off. That's gonna make a world of difference once it's all, as I said, polished up. And this once again, this specific sanding tool is just so great for it. Sanding sponges, as fantastic as they are, and if you've seen my other videos here as well, you've seen that that's kind of my go-to and preferred. However, though, for these super straight spots where seam lines, excuse me, not seam lines, my apologies. No, I guess seam lines is the right word. So where the seam lines of the mold have come together, like this is the best tool for it. You have to have those straight edges. You have to. And so that is where we are at with those guys right now. And we are just rolling through the grits. I'm on 1000 now. So there's 1000, 1200, 1500. Let's see what else I got. 1500, 2000, and then 2500. And sadly, yes, we're gonna stick through them all today. Not shortcutting in anything for the white. I'm really just hoping that we don't have the same issue on any of the legs. Leg pieces are almost always white on any Gundam, and I specify Gundam here. That's a really big staple color for it for the legs. So I'm just hoping we don't have a bunch of this in the legs, because if not, we will be sanding for way too many episodes, and I'm not about that life. And I want to put you through that as well. I would do that sanding off camera for you as well, especially because now that how you do the process is being shown. Hopefully you can go and reproduce that yourself in addition to that. So, but yeah, now once we get to those higher grits though, it's just starting to go so much faster. We're already done with 1,000, jumping over to 1,200 as well. And here we go. At 1,200, yeah, and you can really start to see the polishing now. Light might be a little bit too harsh to see the polishing because it's white. The light is so harsh on the white sometimes. But yeah, so it's really coming along smoothly. Almost there. Almost, almost, almost. Working real hard. Finish this up quickly. Yeah, it's gonna look so much better. Alright, 1,200 is done. Going on to 1,500 now. If I can put my sandpaper back on this paper. There we go. Do want to state once again that this is a pre-recording. I recorded this before I had to leave out for a business trip. And that being the case, I still want to make sure that upholding true to the broadcast. So that way you guys have your fill-in of Gundam building as well. Brings it right along. Helps enhance your skills. Getting there. We are at 1,500 right now as well. It just, once again, it just becomes so smooth at this level. Just letting the sandpaper do the work, cleans it up. There was actually some, and this is, I wish that the camera could catch it. Let me see if I can, I'm gonna zoom in like a boss here. We're gonna go as close as we humanly possibly can with our focusing. The light is still too harsh. I'm gonna turn that down. Yep, there we go. So at this range, you can kind of see it. I'm going to point it out though as well. This is why, even no matter how much sanding you do, you can still see these little daggum nub marks. These are the nub marks right here on the plastic. It is as white as can be, but what happens is that when they inject it, since this is the spot that they inject it in, the plastic literally coagulates there, literally just like you're thinking with blood. Yep, the same word. As well. I know everybody knows that. But yeah, so that's what happens there is that it coagulates in those areas, specifically impacting the overall appearance of the plastic. So that's why if you truly want to get rid of nubs, the best way to do it is by daggum painting it. So, and it's so much, and if you are painting it, it's so much easier that way as well. You don't have to be nearly as super detailed with your sanding. Granted, I would recommend sanding these pretty good because they had a nasty seam line and nasty nub marks to start out with. But outside of that, though, like you don't have. I usually and that's why in all honesty, I think God Hand only goes up to 800 on their lower end grit pieces. I don't think they're just trying to steal more money from our pocket, but in all honesty, guys, if I've just gone through the 800 up to the 800 grit and painted over that, it looks perfect. It looks flawless. And so The only one that I'm really like super anal about is the whites. But in this instance, the whites still show the imperfections of the molding process. And there was nothing we can do to hide it. Nothing we can do without painting it. And that's why painting can really, once again, if you want to truly get rid of nubs, you paint. If you're okay with living with those type of imperfections, then sand. And if nubs aren't an issue for you at all, do your thing, build your Gundam, have fun. That's what it's all about in the first place. Making your action figure model kits, making that pose that just stands out for you, and making it happen. So as you can see over to the wall behind me, there is a ton of Gundams over there, and yeah, painted. There's been so many mistakes in there, but proud of every single one. Actually, except for one. We're not going to talk about that here. It's not the space. I'm sorry. We'll find the space. Alright, it's my Zeta high grade from 1989. It's a really old mobile suit. Really, really old model kit in general. And so I am not happy with... I did the stupidest thing. I did this the stupidest thing. I sprayed... I airbrushed a beautiful enamel, as a matter of fact. Very, very beautiful color. I think I still have it even. It's a metallic blue for the armor. And then, I don't know, maybe like a day or so later, I applied its clear coat on top of it, which was acrylic based. Not necessarily so much the issue that it was acrylic, but enamels have to cure, and I was an idiot and did not let it cure for its proper amount of time. And lo and behold, my paint started chipping up and got really bubbly and crackly and looks kind of bad at that point. Especially because everything else turned out so good except for that. So there's the space. I've worked through my feelings. It's okay. I do want to build another Zeta Gundam though, maybe one day. It'll be very, very far down on my list. It's got to be for the very, very right price. Like somebody's got to get rid of it, or it's going to be a used one that I redo from start. But I have a hard time even getting rid of that imperfect work because it was a good gift from some close friends back in Japan. So I did not get rid of it. They had been holding onto that kit. Oh goodness. Let's see. They gave it to me in 2008. They gave it to me in 2008, and it was once again it was a 1989 master grade. It was very, very old in the first place. And so I'll still probably keep that one forever. I've only given some like bad works to my son because he likes Gundams too. The 5-year-old. I've already created a monster as a matter of fact. He likes them. And so I gave him some of my ones. I call him my outcast. Again, I did an amazing Exia and a dark matter Exia. Probably spent way too much money. No, actually no. I got them for actually pretty good prices, both on sale. But anyway, I gave those to him, and he has since mangled them. Probably the proper word for it. In general. So, all right. Thank you for sticking through with all the sanding bits there. So the arms are now like I'm quite happy with them. They look super smooth, especially once we put that clear coat over it, and when we paint over the rest of the Gundam, it's gonna look actually flawless at that point as well. Granted, those daggum nub marks that we just will not be able to get rid of to save our lives because the injection mold itself has caused the issue. So I'm actually going to go ahead and place them on to the arm itself as well, because that's how happy I am with them. So there is right there our left arm with our white piece. Boom boom. Right there. And then we're going to do same thing for the right as well. I'm not fully putting them on, I'm just kind of letting him sit there. But looking fun, looking fun. I'm going to move him off because this is now going to become a paint zone, and I am not looking to get any cross-contamination. Only 2 colors to do today, fortunately. Probably the rest of it is going to be very, very similar to this. Only 2 colors at a time. We are painting, once again, the end caps for the arms in general, which are all going to be the blue that we've got going on here. Going to be probably a really quick and easy paint today as well, which is why we decided to go over the sanding pieces. Oh, that actually looks like it can use some sanding itself. I'm going to get out my, speaking of those God Hand ones, don't need to be super aggressive, so there's a little nub right here that I want to go ahead and take care of. Specifically, just going to drop on the 240, and it will be gone in no time. But even so this is a sponge, and you can see it's super bendy, which is super helpful in a lot of ways. On the super straight parts so that we were just doing where there was that seam line or connection line, like something like that, you got to get something nice, hard, and straight that does not bend. If not, you're going to get very uneven with your sanding, and that is just as bad, if not worse, than not sanding at all, in my opinion. So, actually, this needs a little bit of sanding. Dang it, all 3 sides needs a little bit of sanding. I should have done that off camera. I'm sorry, guys. Let me be quick here. It's not too aggressive as well, so it's pretty straight, but there's actually a slight round to it, which is why it's also, like, whenever there's like a slight round to something, you want to do the opposite, and you want to go with these sanding sponges for that specifically. It helps out with, once again, holding the integrity of that piece, for instance, and especially on like any thrusters, you've got to avoid those straight blocks as much as possible. Sending thrusters they're always cut at a very difficult angle in the first place, and you're already losing some plastic from the thrusters, I feel like, all the time. So very, very important. Alright. Once again, I feel super bad that we're having to do this on camera now. But it's you know, it's that little bit of perfectionism in me, which helps makes the Gundam look good, but at the same time makes it maybe not so much fun for you. So, alrighty. There we go. Hey, and actually, if anybody's ever seen it, there is a GunPla channel on Reddit. I've actually got a link down here at the bottom, so if you follow me on Reddit, or look at any of the material that I've got going up there, because I post a lot of pictures of my completed kits there, and do offer up some of my tips and tricks there too. Super awesome community though, everybody. Like, they are super inviting. They tons of great comments. It's not like a trolling section of Reddit at all whatsoever. It's a lot of uplifting stuff, and I think the moderators do a fantastic job. The small thing that they ask for everybody not to do, and I totally get it. Especially they moderated me for it as well, and it was totally needed. Is showing in hauls that people are making, which, guys, I get it. We know we love to share hauls, but I know not everybody has the means to be able to have such great. Not everybody has the means that they can show all the awesome Gundams that they have been purchasing at one time, and jealousy's a nasty emotion, if you ask me in general. So I appreciate the moderators on that Reddit channel for taking that and making that one of the rules that we try not to show our holes unless it's Secret Santa, which, man, sad news that this will be the last Secret Santa this year. That's kind of sad. So I've gotten a couple Gundams from it myself, for some really great people, and it's a great way to just show compassion and charity out there into the world. I love it. So sad news, but they brought it. If you read the email from Reddit that said why, it's pretty. You can tell that they put a lot of thought into that Secret Santa and taking it down. So I appreciate them for doing what they did. Tough decision. I'm sure it was a tough decision for them. And so, and it's impactful for our community, but at the same time, though, it's a great thing that we see so much kindness out there in the world. I like to see those type of things. Super sidetracked there, though, but yeah. So the Reddit Gunpla channel is fantastic. There's also Freedom is Gunpla, or Gunpla is Freedom as well. Good channel. They don't mind showing hauls there, but I would. I'm not a moderator of it at all whatsoever, but I would agree with they got going on the other ones. So limiting the hauls in there, especially like when you get like one of those brand new Gundams, or you spend I don't know how much money you do on P Bandais. I'm sadly a sucker for those, so I have a lot of also P Bandai kits. This one being no exception to that. That we're not looking to drive any hard feelings. Like that's just what I would be trying to avoid as well. So when I got moderated for it, I was like, all right, I get it. I get it. As soon as I thought about it, and I was like, I'm stupid for posting that in the first place. So, all right, we have got most of our pieces now ready. Here we go. Gonna get our, because these are all going to be a black primer though as well, so I'm just going to paint them all at one time. This is going to be a tough one. Like I left it in my actual paint studio, but I have it's a bamboo skewer actually that I've modified for painting specifically. But in this instance, most of it's going to be covered, so I'm actually going to grab the very tail end of this instead of painting the whole unit, just right there. So I'm still gonna paint this whole thing, this whole tip though, but that little piece is still gonna be hidden. It's just to allow for a little bit of elbow room. Excuse me, not elbow room. My apologies. Wrist room in general for the Gundam when moving the part and putting in display, that you can still see a little bit more yellow if needs be in this instance. But I am just modifying it so that it'll probably not seen at all at that instance. And once again, to match the anime, we're making the hand covers, instead of them being white, we're going to make them our dark blue as well. So we got our 3 colors and our 2 primers to go with today. And so I myself am super pumped and stoked about it, because I am ready to put these arms together. Will not have time to actually do any decaling for it tonight, or in this current episode, to get these arms done. There's actually a fair amount of decaling to do on the arms, so we won't be able to do that like we did for the torso and other areas already. So that'll be on next time. So next time we'll probably be finishing up the arms. I'm going to do the scythe and the jetpack though, and save my legs and waist for our final steps there. So that way, when we assemble that all together, it'll be done. That's how I want to build it up. If I start putting like the whole body together, and I'm sure anybody else that's built Gundams as well will recognize this too, is that you start wanting to play with them. You start wanting to put them in their posing formats and everything as well. So here we go. Getting our black painted on there. Our black primer specifically. I'm going to do the whole interior though as well, because some of that is going to be seen. Sorry if the airbrush is too loud. The brush is kind of pretty close to my headset, in all honesty. So that's done. And yeah, we're going to do our yellow first today. Especially because this part of the shoulder is the base piece for the shoulder. And if you can, actually, I would love to hear your guys' suggestions as well. Um, Even though we're working on Deathscythe, Gundam Wings Day, I'm going to start out with Wing Zero. I would love to hear what's everybody's favorite Gundam from Gundam Wings specifically. Gundam or unit. I will take unit as well. If you want to say Mercury's V8, Tallgeese, whatever the case is, let's get that. Let's get that conversation had. What is your favorite unit? You can post it up on the Discord, specifically we got related to Gundam and Chill, or you can just message it here in the chat here in Twitch. I want to see that and get back to it when I have the next available chance. So let's see it. Especially if you're doing any current builds or anything, love to see the progress. Love to see what we got going on. Your questions directly to it that I can answer later, even while you're in the middle of the week building and such. Go ahead and throw them by. I'm actually getting a little bit of clog on my airbrush right now. Either that or I'm out of paint, but I think it's the clog. Nope, I'm out of paint. I was thinking I got a clog because I had some alcohol in there before, just to kind of clean it out because it's been a couple weeks since I painted. And with that, sometimes that dries out the tip of the brush because alcohol can be very drying. And with that being the case, I thought it had dried it out, which makes the paint stick. Alright, got our blue parts now coming into play. Or our dark blue. Can we call it Deathscythe blue? Can that even be an official color? And our next box of Crayola crayons, Deathscythe blue. It kind of would look awesome to have all the blue parts kind of black as well. I wouldn't be opposed to that, but the navy blue makes more sense, if you ask me. At least from what I see at nighttime, there's a hint of blue in that night sky. It's not a blue-yellow dress kind of conversation, but you know. Feels like we're going through that primer kind of fast today, but I have not been very aggressive with putting in a bunch of drops, which once again, a bunch of drops kind of dries things up a bit, so I try to avoid that. Big fan there, son. I'm going to paint here on the back side as well. Not fully paint the entire underbelly there, just a little bit. Just a little bit there. Alright, and we are almost there. I may even push that down a little bit too much. Very important that this one comes at all angles because there's a lot of things connecting to it. So, paint from the top, paint from the sides, and now here we go from the bottom. And there we go. Yep, that'll look good. Gonna look real good. Oh, had a little bit of dust on that one. We are fortunate. It did not stick, it got blown right off. Which is a matter of fact, big thing here with airbrushing, always push on the air first, and then pull the trigger to pull back. That's why it's a dual action one. It's not a spray can. Spray cans is direct air as soon as you press in the button to push out the paint. So it's much more refined than that with an airbrush. So don't try to do both at the same time. That's not what it's designed to do. And you'll have better consistencies, and you'll be able to do thinner lines as well when doing that technique. And out of paint again. Just need a couple more drops. I made it a few. And our last piece of paint today, with primer at least. So I am going to step aside for a bit and go rinse out this brush. So stay tuned just for a quick moment. Because it is a dire need that you always need to rinse out these brushes in between so that paint does not get stuck in them. Or better yet, so you can use another color in it there afterwards. Today we still have two more colors to paint. Our yellow and then our, once again, Deathscythe blue. Really, actually, how does one get a color into Crayola? If anybody knows, please throw up the answer. I'm actually dying to find out. I think that'd be ridiculous and fun at the same time. And if there's any two words that describe me together in a whole as a sentence, it might just be ridiculous and fun at the same time. But I'll leave that up to you. I'm sure my spouse would say that I am ridiculous, but fun at the same time. My kids would probably just give me the ridiculous title, though. Granted, they're at, what, their ages 10 and 8. They go back to school actually on Monday. Which is also very exciting. Because that means that they're no longer hogging all the bandwidth at home, watching whatever they are on my dedicated computers and screens. No more 7 hours of streaming stuff. Clearly I need to do better at getting them to do extracurricular activities during the summer, but it's just so hot. At least in our southern states. Alright, gonna put some airbrush cleaner in the brush. Do some backflow. Spray it all out. And we are all clean. Brush number 2 though. And we're going... Actually, this is the brush I use for like the blue color, so I think I'm gonna use my other one for the yellow. The smaller nozzle head. Yellow can be a tough color. The yellow and golds are like tough. I don't know why they're tough for me to paint. Probably because I suck, but outside of that though, yellow is one of those tough colors. It likes to build up even when I thin it, I feel like. So I'm going to give it a good shake. I'm going to give it, once again, my lower nozzle tip to go ahead and do it. And here we go. Let's see how we do today with it. Oh, still got some liquid in there. There we go. Got some paint now. go. It's all about finding that right pressure for the yellow, if you ask me. That'd be the right pressure. And then it comes out looking pretty good. Got a lot of potential. I just still hate painting it. Can you dig it? I think the answer is we can dig it. There we go. Whew. That actually, these might be some of our last yellow pieces, which excites me. Yeah, because I'm changing the color of the grips. Not the grips. Oh my goodness, the claw part of the I don't know. Let's call it I think it's called a shield drill. Is what it's called on Deathscythe. I'm probably wrong with the name, but it's like the shield that comes out with that thermal drill as well. Anyway, that mechanism right there is actually got silver claws in the anime, while here on the this redesign look, it's got a they make it this yellow color as well, and to me it looks like it's not a pretty color scheme that they designed for that. A lot of good things about this Gundam, but I was not a fan of the color scheme for the redesign. So that's why we're going back to the original anime. Especially the white head. Oh, I just cannot stand the white head. Such a talented mech designer, and he made the Gundam that's supposed to be stealth have a white head. Maybe my logic just does not compute with that, but I just don't see how that's a good thing. And yes, he's got a bunch of white legs too. But hey, what ifs? Deathscythe is a magnificent piece of art. And you can see there's my clumping that I'm talking about that yellow does. It just does that sometimes. I don't have an exact reason why. Clearly I must have been too heavy on the paint, but I gave it like the same pressure that I did for the last one, which came out pretty solid and good. Good news is though, a little bit of paint thinner though will help take down those super heavy parts, and we can just go over them again with our paint and get them back to what we want. Alright, I can live with it now. It actually might be more yellow than the other piece, so I might have to give the other piece a little bit more yellow. Yep, we'll give it a second glance. Yep, it's got a little bit more yellow in it. But it's the perfect time to do it. It's gone over, got a little bit of drying. There we go. Yeah, it looks great now. Looks even. There we go. Super happy with it now. With both pieces. So almost there. I really do hope this is the last little bit of yellow to paint for this Gundam, just because I hate painting yellow so much. It's so weird. And it's not because yellow's a bad color. It's just, it does not spray well. Maybe it's the formula that Vallejo's using for it. I don't know. Maybe I'll try Tamiya yellow next time. But for now, we are stuck with this. Alrighty. And our last color to paint, our last little bit for the night as well. Don't worry guys, I'm not going to leave you hanging. We're going to put it all together too though. We're going to see what it looks like all together. Because I, like you, am ready to see what these arms will look like. New color scheme, sanding's completed, we got our white part done. It is practically ready to go. There's going to be a good amount of decal work though on it. That part I do know is coming. So stay tuned. We're going to do some decal work next time. I definitely like to give my paint some curing time, usually. So that way we can actually see it, and we don't scratch anything. And so it'll be perfect next week for us to do some decals. I'm going to go ahead and pick all these up and put them on here. And I'm actually going to spray these from top to bottom. What I mean by that is, where do they connect at? So this is going to slide into the top of the arm, while our next piece is going to be below it. And there's another piece done. Oh wait, did I miss a spot? I think I did. There we go. I'll clean up there. Oh, yep, what's going on? Ah, this does happen. That right there that you're seeing coming out, that's water. That's because that's how humid the air is here, even inside the house. There's a very quick and easy way to fix that, and we're going to do that real fast. Take off the humidifier cover and dry it out. see. Here is my humidifier cover. You can see all that buildup of humidity in my air. Yeah, for me, I just take it off, dry it out. My air is just super humid over here. This little nozzle also does release as well if you get a lot in there, but to me it's just easier to just take the whole thing out and dry it out. Takes real fast. So yep, already dry. Now we probably will have to let the airbrush run a little bit because there's probably some left in the tubes as well. So yeah, you can see there's like a few more shots left in the tube, but that was it. Oh, nope, there's still some more. There we go. All gone now. Back to normal-ish. Alright, all painted up. I don't think I cut out the hands. I didn't see them in the box, so I probably left them still on the runners, which kind of sucks. I'm sorry guys, because these yellow pieces right here, like these are held in because of the hands. So, we'll see. I know the thing, actually, I could probably cut out the hands for you real fast. It won't take too much. Just because I don't think they need any sort of sanding or anything at all. What you just saw there was a clog. The tip of the needle got a little bit too dry. It wasn't getting out any paint, so I just released the whole thing out real fast. Pushes out that little clog. Once again, we're talking about like micrometers in size. Like these are super small clogs in the first place, so they'll come out real fast like that. I'm going to go clean my brush real quick. Show you where, once again, this is what we've painted so far today. This is what we're going to be married with here shortly. So stay tuned. Gonna go paint the clean the brushes real fast, and we'll put it together. Alrighty, so our major leftover paint is completely cleaned out from the tubes. We still do need to do some finer details though as well. Always, always, always have to, guys. Clean your brushes thoroughly. Make them last so much longer, especially like this. Like, look how much that's kind of dried up in there because we didn't clean it out right away. So I'm actually using a little bit of alcohol to loosen that up, and you can see it gets it right on off. With the acrylics, with the enamels, they'll still be wet. Enamels will be very, very wet, and so it's easier in that sense. It's just a little bit more expensive, because like mineral spirits is not cheap, and once again, it's not necessarily healthy for you. So you should probably avoid that if you can, unless you have like an outdoor paint studio. I do not, because once again, you saw how humid it was on the inside of my house, so you can only imagine what it looks like on the outside. During the summer, it's just so humid. Those lakes, Lake Pontchartrain, Mississippi River, Gulf of Mexico, all those things are real close over here. So there we go. Major cleaning done. We're once again going to use an airbrush cleaner. I'm actually just using a crappy rag to clean up the desk as well, if anything gets left over. Also make sure that hands are clean before handling those parts. You can see I got a little bit of paint right there before I'm going to start handling my parts and putting them together, which is also why I'm going to take this time here to clean the brush. So, and talk about Deathscythe. So, Deathscythe. Let's talk about this one final thing before we end up for the night. Why the redesign? Why the redesign? Not from the animators per se. What I'm talking about is in the show themselves. Clearly, it wasn't modified for space when Duo got out there. That's fine. Yeah, you don't need nearly as many thrusters because you don't have 0G. Gravity's holding the suit down. But in space, obviously, they needed to modify it for space. I get that. But why the overhaul? Why the cloaking feet, the big old cloak that they had? I wonder why they decided to go with that. And not give any more, like, range attacks for it. Like, because there was a redesign for Ultron as well, at the exact same time, right? Or Shinron, that was then named into Ultron. They gave him so much more abilities in the first place. So they upped his armor, right? Supposedly, they gave him an extra dragon arm for his. Was it his left one then? So his left arm got also a dragon arm. They made his, once again he had a staff before. I still kind of missed that, but had a staff before, and then gave him this double-sided trident. So now he's able to attack from both sides with careful manipulation of the weapon. And then last but not least, they gave him the freaking dragon range thing that whipped out behind him as well. Like, talk about intimidating in the first place. But on top of that, like, such a great range attack. It looks like it could penetrate a lot of things. It was super strong. Wu Fei was pretty doggone. I mean, Ultron Gundam was pretty doggone awesome. I think kind of one of the only original Gundam pilots like took on Wing Zero and like defeated him. And I'm talking about like Zex Marquis Wing Zero, which was no slouch. Zex Marquis is not a slouch in the mobile suit. But Wu Fei definitely won that fight against Zex. Mano a mano. Right there next to Peace Million. Probably also didn't help that Wu Fei's colony was just about to be destroyed too. But all those talks and everything going on there. With that. But yeah, so Ultron like got all the upgrades, became super BA. Deathscythe, yeah, he's got the cloak on, enhanced stealth capabilities due to the additional what is it? What do they call them? His radar jammers that he had built into his backpack. They were much stronger second time around, and so he was those modifications made sense. I was okay with the cloak. I was okay with that. But why? I mean, the dual scythe, as cool as it looks freaking phenomenal, and the model kit that they made for it as well. That scythe is just absolutely fantastic. I love it to death. But no real additional, like, no range attacks. Like, he's got the one thing for range, and that's it. And we don't even know if that's a one-stop shop or not. Like, does he have to get that repaired after it blows up a mobile suit and everything as well? Really, really good question. So, I don't know. What I do know, though, is that our Deathscythe is ready to have his arms put on. So we're going to focus on right first. Good news is that every single piece will work on both arms. Oh, excuse me, no, I lied. That is a dirty, dirty lie, as a matter of fact. This is a left arm. I had it even on the wrong side. So we are going to force this bad boy in there. There we go. That's how it's supposed to look. We have these end caps. These ones will go on either side. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Looks like we got a little bit of buildup of paint right there. I don't know how that happened. Oh, I'm going to have to live with it. I'm not going to redo it. Consider me lazy there for that. Yeah. It's looking good. And then, I actually do not remember which way this goes. I think it goes this way though. So you can see that this will bend out a little bit. But yeah, you can hardly see our, yeah, there we go. There we go. And then our final piece is our shoulder caps as well. The instructions said to put this on first, so we're going to put this on first specifically. See how that looks? Oh my goodness. That is great. Then we're going to snap it into place. The proper lining up. And there we go. There is our left arm and shoulder piece is done. You can see that the idea of doing all that yellow on the inside made it nice and solid as well. It came out looking pretty solid. Let's go ahead and put this bad boy officially onto the frame. That's what we're talking about, guys. That is what we are talking about. That good old left arm now. Do the same thing for the right. Maybe we can just snap this on from the start. Alright, there we go. I would not, in any retrospect here, guys, is that we just put the arms on type deal, but I would be very, very hesitant to do any movement whatsoever until we actually seal it. So I'm going to put them there, yes, but I'm not going to do very much movement whatsoever until we seal the paint on. So then that way we don't have any scratches against the torso, because that's where we'll get scratched at. Alright. Snapping that bad boy on. Our final yellow piece, hopefully. And then last but not least, put the end cap on for the arm. Oh, just, guys, it's just turning out glorious. It's been a good build so far in the first place. It looks like the shoulders might be a little bit lighter. Oh, and then you can see that literally that singular dot that I had of paint somehow got on this left shoulder. I'm trying to rub it off. Maybe it's because we have so much yellow, but I don't know. It looks like it's a little bit lighter of a blue. It's the exact same color we've been using up against the black primer. Maybe we just need to let it dry. Probably what it needs. This paint has cured and has cured to the primer itself. So, but there we go, guys. That is our Deathscythe for the day. Actually, let's clip out those hands real fast, because I do not want those yellow pieces to fall out and get supremely scratched or anything. So, XA4 and 3. And that is an H. There's my XAs. So there's a couple different parts for these XAs, but I am only going to do the one. Yeah, and you can see none of it's going to be seen. So I'm going to be very quick and liberal with my cutting. It should be just fine. So especially because we got to do the thumb joints there too. The thumb joints are elsewhere, but the thumb joints are held in by this piece as well. So I'm going to get this real fast. Guys, sorry for the delay. I know it's taking a little bit longer today than what we were planning for our hour-long broadcast. If you stayed through the whole thing, I appreciate it. Even if you didn't stay through the whole thing, or you're just joining in, I appreciate it. Last but not least, just one final thing to mention is that this is a pre-recording this time around, as I am heading out and will be in the not able to stream, but I will be out of town and in the air at the time that we normally broadcast. So as that is the case. Alright, we got all of our parts clipped out for the base of the hand. We're going to put them into place now. Thumbs just going like that. The cool things about all these Gundam Wing model kits, and even some Gundam Seed ones as well, the hands just snap in there. Like the actual the rest of the fingers snap in there. Really nice design, as a matter of fact, for those. And it holds in that piece gloriously. So there we go. With that portion of Deathscythe. I haven't decided on the pose yet, so I haven't touched the other hands. Or I mean, don't have any idea what I'm going to do with the fingers, but these are going to always be there, so. I'm thinking of just holding the scythe, two-handed, like such, probably, but I'm not going to, once again, I'm going to be very limited in my movement right now until we seal it over, so. Keep my arms kind of loose, but there we go, guys. Hands, beginning of the hands, arms completed, decals are next. That being the case, though, I will catch you guys next week. We'll be working on the decals of Deathscythe, and also probably getting started on the backpack as well. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit while we build our Master Grade Gundam. Final things to announce out as well. August 25th, we are going to launch a new series, Gundam Wings Day, where we're going to once again focus specifically on a haul of Gundam Wing kits, both high grade and master grade, starting out with Wing Zero high grade first, and showing off some stills with that as well. With that, we'll catch you later. We'll see you next time.